Hello, fellow YouTubers. My name is Draco Darkness 123, as you know, and my topic today is classic PC games and why I cannot play them. Now, I personally love my classic games. They are awesome. Things, you know, classic games that were produced for things like Windows 95, Windows 98, and Windows XP. Now those games, for some reason, I have yet to figure out, are not properly working for things like Windows 7 and Windows Vista. Even though it is advertised that you can backtrack and be able to play these games without any problems. So far, every time I've tried to play a lot of my classic games, I have not been able to. Now, my primary thing are two games that a lot of people know, and other people may not know. For example, one game is Final Fantasy VII. Now, I have tried many times to try and play it on this PC that has Windows Vista. Now, I have tried and tried with no luck. Unfortunately, it gets to the area where it asks you if you're trying to play a new game. I click yes, and nothing happens. It just freezes. I can't go anywhere. It doesn't let me do anything, so I guess I'm out of luck. And another game that I've been having problems with is one that not very many people have heard of, but it's personally a very interesting game, and I like it, my mom likes it, and a lot of people laughed at it because it's one of those games that you have to go in with an extreme sense of humor. It is Douglas Adams' Starship Titanic. Now, both of these games, I have the unfortunate event of not being able to play. However, there is one other game that, for some reason, I have been able to play, but it's still very spotty, and that is Ring. Ring is actually a game based off of an opera. The opera is about the journey through Nordic mythology. And this one pretty much this game Ring brings the Nordic mythology and basically changes it into sci-fi, but they did a very good job of it. For some reason I can play that, but it is very spotty graphics-wise, but graphics are understandable considering that it is a classic game. So it was one of the first 3D effects. Now, as far as with Douglas Adams' Starship Titanic, I still cannot figure out why it's not working. And this is my plea to Microsoft mainly, or to fellow PC gamers out there who have figured out how to play these games. Please, to Microsoft, I'm begging you, find some way to reproduce these games, or maybe possibly as downloadable, you know? Everybody would probably download these games for a reasonable price. I mean, these are classic games. People played these games over and over again. And people loved Final Fantasy VII. I mean, it was great. People still love it today. Hell, there are cosplayers out there who dress up as their favorite Final Fantasy VII character, i.e. people like Cloud Strife, Tifa Lockhart, and everybody's favorite, Eris. Now, they did update the Final Fantasy VII franchise with other games. However, I would just like to see the classic Final Fantasy VII able to be played on the PCs that have things like Windows Vista and Windows 7, which it's been spotty. You know, it's been very hard for people who have these latest things to play their favorite games. And I personally would like to see that people's favorite games are actually able to be played. And, I mean, Microsoft, please, at least, if you're not going to reproduce these games for things like Vista and 7, at least make them downloadable off of a website so that people can play them at their will, you know? That would be great. Anyway, I'm going on a little too long. I guess people are probably bored at this point. So, I guess post video responses where you show me a way to play my favorite games one way or another. Now, I'm going to talk to you about my next topic, which will be reviewed later. Now, it is going to be about Doctor Who. That will be my next topic. So, until then, Sonic Screwdriver. And this is Draco Darkness 123 signing off.